This is Tim Staten with Tim Stating the Obvious. What is this podcast about? It's simple. You are entitled to great leadership everywhere you go, whether it's to church, whether it's to work, whether it's at your house, you are entitled to great.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tim Stating the Obvious for an obvious moment. Just like to say a belated happy Father's Day to everybody out there. I know that, Father's Day had passed, but I was running behind on my schedule this week, and I didn't want to take away time from my family yesterday to go over this weekly moment. So we're doing it right now. So first of all, for all the fathers out there, I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do for you and your family. And believe it or not, a lot of fathers are leaders out there. And what I mean by that is there are 6 things that fathers do really, really well that apply to the workplace. The first thing they do is they love their families, right? So I don't know a father out there who's like, nah, I hate my family. I don't want to be there. Fathers love their families. And like in the workplace, it's a different kind of love, but you appreciate your people who work with you in the workforce, right? So that gratitude that you share and you show them often comes from a place where they also bring it from home. Their love and their appreciation for their family. So that's the first thing. The second thing that they do is fathers, we lead our families, right? So whether it is spiritual, whether it is in the household on a direction that the household should go, and some houses, mothers lead too, and parenting is a equal partnership share, but somebody has to lead, right? And 9 times out of 10, that's mainly the men in the house who will lead in that direction. So the leadership role that fathers have with their children is to help lead them to a path of success, lead them to the path where they're going to be the most successful in life, much like in the workplace. You want the people you work with to be successful. You want them to grow and to develop into the workers that you know that they are. And by leading them and mentoring them down the right path. The third thing that fathers do that are really, really good is that they provide for their family, right? So you go to work, you provide the monetary means to be able to put food on the table. And again, yes, parenting is a co-equal ship partner. In the past history, the father brings home the bacon, right? We bring home the things to the family to help the kids be successful so that they have clothes on their back, food on the table, toys to play with, you name it, whatever you want to provide for your family. Fathers do a really, really good job at providing for their family, working 70 hours a week, working 2, 3, sometimes 4 jobs to provide a better life for their children and better than what they had. That's the goal of a father who loves their family and who leads their family, is that they provide so that they can be in a better place. The fourth thing that fathers do really, really well is they provide wisdom. You want to impart that wisdom so that way they can be better. Same thing with judgment. I tell my 16-year-old son all the time, you get good judgment by making poor judgment calls and learning from it, right? So if you see a really, really wise person, it's probably because they really learned a lot in life and learned from their experience. It's all about learning from the experience. It's not necessarily having the right answer right off the bat. But as fathers, we want to impart that wisdom on down to our children so that way they can start from a better starting point and a better basis than we started. And so they don't have to go through the same pains that we go through, much like in the workplace. You want to impart that wisdom on down to your workforce so that way they don't make the same mistakes that you made and you can truly be a learning organization. How do you learn as an organization? By making mistakes and learning from your mistakes. And making sure that you document them and you share them and you understand that people know the right decisions to make and having better judgment calls and having a better playing field than where they started. Now, the fifth thing that fathers do really, really well is they provide some correction, right? So in every instance, every child is going to make a mistake like we just talked about. And the goal is to provide the correction so that way they can learn from that mistake, so that they don't make that same mistake again. And much like in the workplace, as leaders, we need to provide course correction. We need to correct mistakes as they happen so that we don't set new standards when bad standards are being put into practice. We need to make sure that we provide correction on better practices and to move forward and learn. Again, this is all about learning and getting better and being better tomorrow than we are today. So fathers bring to the workplace that leadership that you use that comes from the household by providing that loving correction that comes from a good place and not from a I got you place. It comes from the place of when you notice something wrong, you say something and you correct the behavior without correcting the individual. And the last thing that fathers do well is forgiveness, right? So when mistakes are made with our children, we want to correct that mistake and then we provide forgiveness for that mistake. We don't hold it over their heads for their whole entire life and for a long period of time and say, okay, well, because you made this one mistake 6 years ago, you're still being punished for it today. Or because you made that one mistake 6 hours ago, you're still punished for it today. Now, depending on the age and the level of the severity of the mistake, the forgiveness level may take a little bit longer. But as fathers, we always forgive our children because we know that mistakes are inevitable in life. And that's how you learn and you grow and you get better. And I know I don't like going to a workplace where my leaders don't forgive, where they have a zero tolerance mentality for any type of mistake. You must be perfect all the time, and any deviation from perfection is punished and held over your head in the future. I don't know about you, but I don't like to work in a place like that. So as leaders, we need to forgive when honest mistakes happen. We need to overlook those mistakes. We need to overcome those and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you made that mistake. You learned from it. You're taking the corrective action. All right, cool. Let's move on. It's done. It's over. It's squashed. We dealt with it. Now let's move on. Don't hold it over their heads for the next rating period or performance period and say, hey, I got you on this. No, the mistake happened. We roll on and we move on and we forgive. Now, as leaders, anybody can do this. You don't just have to be a father. But because it was Father's Day, I just wanted to take this moment and say thank you to all the fathers out there for providing that leadership in the household. Because like I say in my introduction, is you are entitled to great leadership, whether it's in the home or in the workplace. You are entitled to great leadership. And if you're watching this and you're looking at it and you go, man, I could take something from this and put that on my playbook. Or you know what? I could probably do a little bit better at this area or this area. It doesn't matter who you are. You could take those 6 principles that fathers do well and apply that to leadership. And you don't just have to be a male to do it or identify as a male to do it. Anybody can do it. But those are 6 principles that fathers bring to the table. And as leaders, we can emulate in the workplace. So those 6 principles are loving, providing, correcting, imparting wisdom, leading, and forgiveness. All those things, I think, in the workplace, if we just imparted a little fraction of each of what we provide to our families in the workplace, every workplace would be a lot better. I want to thank you for tuning into this episode. If you found this beneficial at all, please hit that like button and let me know what you think. Comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that bell icon too, so that way you know when we come out with a new episode, either on our podcast or on our Facebook or YouTube page. I hope you like this episode. I'm Tim Staten, stating the obvious.